Hey, it's A Collector here, and today's video we're going to take a look at the two-panel death card for Mathias and Franz Maier. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So panel 1 here just says Christ, and then moving to the inside. One interesting thing to note here is that Mathias and Franz are not listed as killed on this card. They're listed as vermissed, or war missing. So this is an early post-war card, and it bears all the hallmarks of one printed during the war, except for the fact we don't have any Nazi imagery. And given the fact that Franz here went missing in February of 1945, they probably waited until several years after the war, I would assume, to officially print these cards. Once the family kind of given up hope of them coming back. So starting on the left here, in Christian prayerful memory of the honored one, Mr. Mathias Maier, farmer's son from Leisek in the parish of Friedelfing, an Obergefreiter and infantry regiment, who has been missing in the war in Russia since June 1944 at the age of 38. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a lot of information on Mathias. He is still missing, 80 years later now. And other than a Volksbund entry noting that he was born on November 1st, 1906, and that his name is recorded in the Sologubowka military cemetery, that's it. So, given the fact it's been 80 years on, doesn't seem like there's any more information online. It's safe to assume that Mathias was killed in 1944. Of course, June 1944, that'd be the beginning of Operation Migration, which basically smashed Army Group Center and started the major retreat back to Germany. So, most likely he was just lost in the chaos of that. And then moving to the bottom here, I died in enemy territory surrounded by guns, where I stood fighting as a warrior to protect my people and country. O Lord, give him eternal rest. And then moving to panel 3 here. In Christian prayerful memory of the honored one, Mr. Franz Maier, farmer's son from Leisek in the parish of Friedelfing, Gefreiter in an infantry regiment who has been missing in the war in Russia since February of 1945 at the age of 40 years old. Now, Franz here has been able to find a bit more on. Unfortunately, no casualty record, just the Volksbund listing. He was born on November 30th, 1905, and appears to have gone missing at Gdansk, specifically the port area of Gdynia. So, at this time, the Germans were desperately trying to buy time for Operation Hannibal, which was the evacuation of eastern Prussia. At this point, the Soviet forces are moving in. German defense is just collapsing all along the front. And at Gdynia here and at several ports along the coast, German forces are buying as much time as they can to get civilian and military personnel out of these areas before they're completely overrun by the Soviets. And Operation Hannibal itself would eventually evacuate 2 million civilians from the east to the west. Now, Franz here has been missing as of February of 1945. The Soviets actually didn't reach the area until March. So it seems likely that Franz either died in an air raid and, they didn't find him or find enough of him to really identify what had happened, or, maybe he tried to slip away in all of the confusion. So really, without additional information, we don't know. But safe to assume that if it had been multiple years after the war by the time this card was printed, if Franz had tried to slip away in all of the confusion, he did not make it home. Moving to the bottom of the card here, I now rest like my brother from fighting in foreign lands and hope that we will all see each other again in the kingdom of heaven. Then moving to panel 4 here, we have Help of Christians, Pray for Us. See, a pretty interesting card. You don't see a ton of cards that list missing. They do come up. I wouldn't say that they're horribly uncommon. I have a couple examples in my collection. But, it's always an interesting one, and definitely a poignant reminder that even, again, 80 years later, a lot of these guys are still missing, not just from Germany, but from the Soviet military. America still has a lot of MIA, especially in the Pacific. So there's still a lot of effort being done to identify and recover bodies to this day. Overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.